Interesting things that happened in our family is that after Amazon accused my husband of a crime, they then sued him in federal court. I do not think they had any intention of following through on the civil lawsuit, but they were using it as yet another tool to kind of bury people. They knew our funds had been seized, and then they sued my husband in federal court, which is like, I'm sorry, is being $1 trillion company not enough of an advantage? Like, you needed to make sure we had no money. But the reason that's interesting is because eventually the case went into discovery, which is the exchange of information. Mm-hmm. And then my husband was able to get from Amazon all of their communications with the Department of Justice. And what I saw floored me and broke my heart, because I thought in America, if someone accused you of a crime, the DOJ, that they would take that allegation, if they heard you, because they no promise to hear you, they would take that allegation and then investigate it, and that they would investigate it independently. That's not what we found. So what I saw in the communications between Amazon and DOJ is that Amazon met with federal prosecutors over 100 times. They were texting with federal prosecutors late at night. They told federal prosecutors what to subpoena from Amazon, what documents to subpoena. The communication that bothered me the most, though, is that right after Amazon had their first pitch meeting with DOJ to try to charge my husband with a crime, and Amazon had hired a former federal prosecutor from the Eastern District of Virginia to lobby his former colleagues, and that's what he did. His name was Patrick Stokes. And immediately after the first meeting, Patrick Stokes received an email from Jessica Aber, who at the time was the number 2 in charge of criminal investigations at this DOJ office. She later became the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. And Pat and Jess had worked together for years before Pat went into the private sector. And in this email, Jessica Aber wrote to Patrick Stokes that Pat's presentation was amazing and a testament to his and Amazon's hard work. And she said to Pat, please don't worry. I've hand-selected my 2 very best prosecutors for your client's important matter. And every time you hear someone get on a stage like Merrick Garland and say there's one rule of law for all, not one for the rich and one for the poor, it's a lie.